What does the modern day superstar look like in Major League Baseball? Is it a guy who can hit 50 home runs in a season? A perennial batting champion? Or does he steal so many bases that the late, great Rickey Henderson's records might actually be in trouble? Today's video answers that question with one single word: yes. First, it was Acuña, recording the first ever 40-homer, 70-stolen-base season in 2023. Then, not to be outdone, Shohei Ohtani recorded baseball's first 50-homer, 50-stolen-base campaign. The combination of power and speed has become more and more important, and if the first 2 years of the pitch clock, bigger bases, and shift restrictions have told us anything, it's that the best is yet to come. In this three true outcomes era, we're seeing some of the best power threats in the game also hit for higher averages and steal more bases than ever before. All across baseball, the most valuable players aren't just leading the league in homers and RBIs. They're doing so while also being a threat on the base paths and playing stellar defense. And it's not like they're hitting 200 every year either. There's a measure of consistency across the board, and for us baseball fans, it's a privilege to be able to watch these complete five-tool threats on a nightly basis. When he made his Major League debut in 2022, Bobby Witt Jr. was a young talent with speed and sneaky power. But he has developed into a true MVP candidate who can go toe-to-toe with the generational talents of Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. And it's a more well-balanced approach to the game that has made players like Bobby Witt Jr. the new prototype for ball players. In his rookie season, Witt posted a fairly pedestrian stat line that doesn't exactly jump out at you. But with the new rules starting in 2023, Witt had what we thought was a true breakout campaign, hitting .276 with an .813 OPS and 49 stolen bases. Witt also posted a .114 WRC plus and more than doubled his F-WAR from 2022. The Royals front office saw enough to sign Witt to an 11-year, $288 million contract. Not too shabby for a player with just 2 years of experience under his belt. But if you thought he was good in 2023, just wait until you hear about the following season. Fresh off that massive extension, Witt posted an MVP caliber 2024 season. He hit .332, good for a batting title, with a .977 OPS, a .168 WRC plus, and nearly doubled his F-WAR again, posting 10.4 wins above replacement to finish just behind Aaron Judge. Witt's 2024 season was also the second consecutive year where he'd post a 30-30 season, showing us all that the power and speed combo was here to stay. But what is it about the ability to hit the ball out of the yard and steal bases? It's as basic as you'd think: creating runs. When you think of weighted runs created plus, or a measure of how valuable players are to their team's offensive output relative to league average, you probably think of the big sluggers who hit the ball a country mile. Judge, Soto, Alvarez, Guerrero, Ohtani, etc. But in 2024, Bobby Witt Jr. was 5th in WRC+, proving it's not just the absolute units in the game of baseball who can more than pull their own weight in any big league lineup. If Bobby Witt Jr. was the only player of his mold, a speedy, well-rounded middle infielder with power and consistency, then we'd be appreciative that he's in the bigs. But in 2025, we're lucky to say that we get to watch several such players on a nightly basis. Elly De La Cruz comes to mind as another middle infielder with the ability to steal bases, make plays defensively, and hit the ball out of the yard. Elly's first big league home run back in 2023 might have popped up on your social media pages a few times, and for good reason. This ball was hit at 114.8 miles per hour, good for 458 feet. But of course, that wasn't the only tape measure home run that Elly hit in his debut season. Of his 13 homers in 2023, only 3 of them were under 400 feet, and 4 of them were at least 450 feet. We can't talk about a combination of power and speed without mentioning Corbin Carroll. The face of this new Arizona Diamondbacks team, a young, fast, athletic, and hungry squad, Carroll burst onto the scene in 2023 in a big way. With an adjusted OPS of 133, 54 stolen bases, and an 868 OPS, Carroll fits the bill of a true modern-era superstar. There were stretches last season where Carroll looked truly lost at the plate, but he's returned to form in a big way in 2025. And that's what's truly beautiful about players like Carroll and Elly and Witt. It's that their skill set travels anywhere. Carroll's home ballpark, Chase Field, is one of the worst ballparks in baseball as far as home run factor. Per StatCast, Chase Field's park factor, or a measure of how homer-friendly a stadium is, has been well below Major League average for the last 7 seasons. But that hasn't done anything to dent Corbin Carroll's productivity, nor has it prevented the Diamondbacks from being one of the most prolific run-scoring teams in the league. All of that starts, literally, with the 1-2 punch of power and speed. Carroll's home and road splits are also indicative of staying power, with the D-backs' speedy outfielders slugging almost an identical number of homers at home and on the road. The same goes for Bobby Witt Jr., and even more so for Elly. De La Cruz's offensive numbers as a whole are actually better away from one of the more hitter-friendly ballparks in Cincinnati. Now, this isn't to say that Carroll is going to hit 50 homers in a season, or that Elly will ever win a batting title. But we're privileged to be able to watch the best players in the league do more than just one or the other. And it's more than just 1 or 2 players who embody the 5 tools. I can't even mention every single player that fits this bill, and you're probably already mad that I'm not mentioning your favorite player. In this conversation about the well-rounded nature of the modern superstar, we can't forget about Ronald Acuña Jr.'s record-setting 2023 season. While Acuña has been one of baseball's best players since he debuted with Atlanta in 2018, he truly took his game to new heights in 2023. With the first ever 40-homer, 70 stolen base season, Acuña won unanimous MVP and propelled the Braves to a league-best 104 wins. While Acuña's fielding prowess may leave some to be desired from both the advanced analytics and the eye test, the combination of his power and speed single-handedly changes the way the Braves can score runs. Though I will say, this was one of the most ridiculous plays I've ever seen. Flat-footed from the right field corner, throwing a guy out, trying to tag to third, crazy. With Acuña though, it's not just about the power and speed. A career .290 hitter, Acuña hit a career best .337 during his record-breaking MVP season. While I've documented just what happened to the Braves since Acuña's second ACL injury in May of 2024, we can't talk enough about one singular player's impact on an entire team. His absence alone wasn't the sole reason why the Braves have struggled, but it certainly didn't help. And while the Braves have been nothing short of a disappointment in 2025, it's not down to Acuña, who looks every bit the player who ran away with the 2023 MVP. Of course, not to be outdone by Acuña's record-breaking season is a record-setting season by Shohei Ohtani. You know the story, but let's just go through the details anyway. His 2024 season was his 4th straight season of pulling off the most jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring, scarcely believable, comprehensively breathtaking feats the game has ever seen. 2021 put him on the map. 2022 cemented his greatness. 2023 one-upped 2022, and 2024 showed us you can take away his ridiculous pitching arsenal, and he'll still win unanimous MVP. Exclusively as a DH, Ohtani posted the game's first ever 50-homer, 50 stolen base season, along with basically every accolade under the sun. And while we probably won't see him steal as many bases now that he's returned to pitching, the fact that we have players across the league who have the capacity to showcase all 5 tools shows us the future of baseball is as bright as can be. It's at this point in the video where, if you're a Cleveland fan, you're probably asking, where the is Joe Ram? Look, I'm not even a Guardians fan, and even I'm asking, where the is Joe Ram? Well, he's what you'd call a man well ahead of his time. Not including this year, where he's already reached this mark, Ramirez has posted a 20-homer, 20 stolen base season in 7 of the last 8, and the one he didn't was 2020. 3 of those seasons were 30-30 seasons, and 2024 may have been the most under-the-radar season for someone to be 1 home run and 1 double away from a 40-40-40 season. Comes with the territory playing for Cleveland and in the same time as Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge, but it's still ridiculous. We've highlighted some of the prime examples of home run hitters who also possess some of the most well-rounded skill sets of anyone in baseball. It's not just this small handful of players either, and there's a ton you could throw into this conversation. Among the 10 most valuable players in the league by F-WAR, 5 of those players have at least 20 stolen bases. And of those 5 players, only Trey Turner has less than 15 home runs as of the time of this recording in early August. Zooming a bit further out, 9 of the 15 most valuable players in baseball have at least 15 steals, and that doesn't include Corbin Carroll, who has an underwhelming 14 steals as of the time of this recording. This trend isn't isolated to this year either. In 2024, 7 of the 10 most valuable players in baseball recorded at least 20 steals. And of those 7 players, only Elly and Jarren Duran hit fewer than 30 home runs. If this were just a conversation about stolen bases, things might be a bit different. But the value of speed isn't just in the ability to steal bases. It's going from first to third, scoring from second on a single, or taking extra bases on the most routine plays. All of that is to say, these guys are very good at running the bases, they're very fast, and they're very good at scoring runs. The most valuable players in the league today aren't just your prototypical Bonds-esque sluggers of old. Teams are starting to realize that this new, quicker, more up-tempo version of baseball requires a combination of power, speed, and consistency. And lucky for us as fans, we have plenty of those across the league. And I probably didn't mention your favorite either. The game is changing, and it's changing for the better. That's all for now. Chime in down below with your thoughts on this new era of baseball, or if you're mad that I didn't include someone from your team. But if you enjoyed today's video, a like is greatly appreciated, and make sure you subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.